Protector of the realm.
All hell, man. Hi, I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. That episode made me want to break stuff, like in a good way, not like a bad way. Like I wanted to go break stuff. I was like, let's get James, let's get Max, let's go fucking break stuff.
So you wanted to go Limp Bizkit on this episode, is what you're saying?
No, I didn't wear a red hat and assaulting
Okay.
women. I just wanted to. Like,
Just to clarify. Good. Okay.
yeah, I just wanted to break stuff. Yeah,
Good
that was
times.
that was a good time. That was a lot of edging, and then it just started coming everywhere. It was really solid.
Yeah.
You know, I was happy. I mean, it was a good payoff. I mean, like I once
Yeah.
again, like I don't mean this like I don't mean this like in a bad way. I just mean like fandom collectively needs a little fucking patience because like everyone's like this is the best episode. It's like, but the last episode wasn't the worst episode. It
No.
was all of this stuff built to give us this. It's dynamic, and it was well worth it though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well worth it. I
And,
thought.
and Andy Circus definitely, they're definitely paying that off. Because you hate to see someone like that brought in and be a waste.
Yeah,
So they definitely got their money's worth out of him.
big time. No, big
Mm,
time. I mean,
yeah.
there were just like those like little subtle moments where Cassian's like hitting the button, talk to them, and he's just like,
Hmm.
hey, this is my
Yep.
first podcast. And
Eh,
then
eh,
but then he starts quoting Cassian with like saying like,
yeah.
I don't want to give them what they want. I was like, yeah, let's break stuff.
Yeah. And then, the fact that he can't swim at the end. You know what other character couldn't swim? Snoke.
Snoke couldn't
So
swim?
Snoke couldn't swim. No.
Well, why is that?
Well, he can't breathe. He had that hole inside of his face. Just the
Oh,
water just comes in. So
good
yeah,
point.
and he's got
Yeah,
those long arms, and he's kind of gangly. Yeah, just flounders.
yeah. I was curious if anybody was going to pick up on the song that I did on the climb song that like literally spoiled the whole episode in the song
Yeah,
earlier, but I was like, nobody's going to
Cassian
notice.
doesn't like his climbing. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was when I came up with that dopey song, I was like, "Oh, Biggs don't say climb because then you're gonna die." But then Melshi said climb. And he didn't die. He doesn't die. He dies
Mm,
later, but he
yeah,
doesn't die. So you can't say climb and not die. It's not a hard fast rule that if you say climb, you die.
yeah. See, I thought you were going to show Bix climbing the ladder. She does climb.
You
Yeah.
genius son of a bitch.
Oh, right. See, sorry. You got to console me next
Now
time.
you fucking tell me. I guess I should have sent you the video.
Bix
But
climbs too. Yeah.
yeah. No, what usually happens is I end up like coming up with the dumb song, then rushing to put footage to it so I can put the dumb song out, and then it's like later I'm like, oh, I should have done that. But
Man, you're like the Weird Al of your time.
that's what I said. No,
Someday you're going to have a Roku film made about you that no one could see.
I loved it. By the way, I watched it 3 times.
How did you get it? Did you take Weird Al's advice and download it illegally?
I have a Roku.
You
I have a
do.
Roku.
Oh,
Yeah,
son of a
see,
bitch.
so it's just like the ad is there
Yeah.
when I start up the Roku every time. It's like, do you want to watch this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I do.
Fuck yeah. Yeah.
But
I very much want to watch it, but I have to go against my morals and try to get it illegally. But Weird Al said it's okay, so
where else? That's okay. It's okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
right,
yeah. No, I loved it. I mean, I think
nice.
I've overhyped it for a few people, just for the record. But I watched it like 3 times now, so
Oh wow,
I
damn.
like it. I like it. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. It's so dumb. I mean, I find myself just laughing about just stupid shit in it later on. It's just one of those dumb movies. I mean, I don't know.
so
It
is it good, better, or worse than UHF? That's because that's kind of
oh
the bar.
yeah, it's not a fair comparison because it's like
No,
it's to what Weird Al is to music to rock movies.
I
It
imagine it's the Naked Gun of like Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
it's like but also the genius of it is that you could almost reverse engineer what it's doing and get the real story from it at the same time.
Uh,
You know what I mean? Like, because I do know most of the stories that goes
right.
into the stuff
Yeah.
over the years, and I think that they're cognizant that you're going to know it. If you're watching that movie, you probably care enough that you
Yeah.
already know it. So, anyways, yeah.
Well, I know I tried to freak out Max because I told her that Weird Al dated Madonna. Like, just watch the trailers, isn't there?
Yeah. It's I won't ruin it, but it's definitely worth watching.
Speak of the devil.
Hello.
There you go. Say her name 3 times. She shows
Hey,
up.
hey, Satan.
Huh?
What? You said
Say
speak of the
hail,
devil.
Satan.
I said, hey, Satan. How's it going?
Hail. Hail, Satan.
What? Why would I? That would be like saying House James, because hell is Satan's home.
Mm.
Sorry.
I hate
I was like,
Texas right now.
yeah.
Fucking hate
Yeah.
Texas.
Are we making Ted Cruz emperor of Texas?
No,
or
but
something
I
today?
absolutely love. You know, there were videos of people booing him at the Astros party,
Yeah.
and someone threw a beer at him.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was the
Yeah.
best. I fucking hate him.
Well, there's like
Uh,
there's videos on Reddit that's him when he goes to New York, and it's just like
They're
20
like,
minutes of,
yeah,
hey, Ted Cruz, you fucking racist prick.
yeah,
Hey, remember when Donald Trump called your wife a big fat bitch? It just like goes on and on. I love
yeah,
it.
I
So
loved
good.
it.
yeah. As much as I hate Trump, I do love the fact that he called him his dad the Zodiac Killer.
That is,
That was just.
yeah, it is
Oh, my
frustrating that
God.
Trump is objectively funny, though.
Yeah.
He
you
is
know,
objectively funny. I mean,
yeah.
you know, it's just once again, just
Oh.
not you just shouldn't be in that position. But anyways,
Anyhow.
yeah.
This is a Star Wars
So
show, right?
yeah, Mac,
Yes,
the episode.
fucking
You're-
loved it.
Fucking loved it, right? You want to break
Yeah.
shit? You want to break shit when you were watching it? We're like, fuck yeah, let's break shit.
Yeah, are we on?
Yeah, we're on.
Oh.
This is a show.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it.
I
Like,
got some.
finally, it's getting some momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah, people who we knew saw all 3 parts already and stuff over the last like week, all kind of like were sort of blending the last episode and this episode together. Something that we heard a few times.
Uh-huh.
It's like, and you know, you could see why. I mean, it's at the end of the day, these are like really 3-part movies, essentially. Like, and so it is sort of weird watching them week by week. So that's why I don't get mad at the fandom for going like, oh, best episode ever, when like last week wasn't the best episode ever. But it's like,
Yeah.
you don't get one without the other. It's like, you know, they all support each other. But
It'd
that's
be like rating a movie scene by scene. I mean, it's not fair. Like, oh, they're all sitting around the dinner table talking. It was boring. Movie sucks.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I-
Yeah,
Weird.
I think that your background, James, is hysterical.
Yeah.
but
You can't see
cool.
Obi-Wan's the best. Where's Obi-Wan?
oh shit, that's some like Rick Ocasek hair going on.
Yeah, I wanted to be on theme because you know, we got the whole metal thing going. You had the lamb head opening. You know,
Right.
this episode makes you want to break shit. So, figured break out the 80s.
I can never not. I mean, it's the powerful thing about the show. If I don't make notes, like I'll probably make notes for tomorrow's show. But because I've already seen the episode, so I'm like, here's what to say or what I want to hit on. But like the end, the thing about this show that sucks about trying to go do an impression show right after is they end with something really poignant at the very end, like fucking like Luthen's fucking speech at the end there. That was a
Yeah.
monologue. I mean, that was maybe the best Star Wars monologue I've ever seen. Maybe the only Star Wars monologue I can think of, but it's pretty fucking strong. It was really when he puts Young in his place.
Yeah, you know, it'd be interesting to see how much they dive into Luthen's backstory because you don't get to that level that he's on unless you're like some like fucking you're like Osama bin Laden level where it's like, you know, rich family, rich country, decide to live in a cave and forego all of that for the cause. I mean, you're fucking 100% all in, and those people are a certain level of crazy.
Yeah.
And what gets you to that level? And obviously, you know, Luthen is quote unquote a good guy in the sense that he has good intentions, but I mean, don't all tyrants and dictators and
He
people,
admitted to being Saw Gerrera. He literally said,
Mhm.
I use the tactics of my enemies.
yeah,
That's compromising and losing your way.
Yeah,
You know what
it's
I mean?
interesting. Yeah, it's cool territory to go down, and I mean, even with Mon Mothma getting and a decent proposal, and when he walks out, the only untrue thing you ever said is that you're not thinking about this. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, that's
He
fucked,
was
man.
he was basically offering to have his son marry her daughter,
yeah,
right? They
yeah.
arranged that
I accidentally
Mhm.
let that slip earlier in the week. I don't know if it was when we were on the last show or if it
like a
was the
fart.
one like a fart, and I made it a joke and said that Scolding was trying to marry the daughter. So I was like, I'll just turn it into that, and everybody's like, "Oh, Jason, you're just a dummy."
You're a
But
dummy.
yeah, that was we known about that for a little bit, and
If
Kino
Lucas
not.
had been writing this back in the '80s, it might have been.
Oh, he'd be like, in
Yeah.
some cultures, when you're 14, you can be queen. So, like, no, George, no, George.
Uh,
Marion Ravenwood, it's more interesting if she's 11. No, George, no, stop.
yeah, regrettable moments in history.
Yeah,
Oof.
yeah. Michael brings up something I like too. He's like, I loved all the guards who were hiding behind the door. I got a lot of pleasure of seeing what the first guard get it with his own prod. Yeah, that guy had it coming. And I was like, as I was watching all of them huddled in the thing, I'm like, I bet you they're all going to get killed. I bet you the Empire's not going to be like, well, you failed. We're just going to reassign you to another prison. I wouldn't be surprised if they all suffer for
Yeah.
or get killed for what they did.
Well,
And
it's interesting because there's such shades of gray in this show that, if they show like some of these guards, maybe just like, hey, I don't know what the fuck's going on. They just told me to go here and watch these prisoners that committed crimes. I don't fucking know. It's people are being transferred. Because I know originally Lucas, original plan when the clones were still stormtroopers. At one point, they asked him, like, about the ending of Return of the Jedi, where, like, why are they celebrating in the capital of Coruscant? He basically said, well, everybody hated the Emperor. They were just afraid of him. And so it wasn't so much that the Imperials were the bad guys. It was they were people that were basically put in a bad situation and trying to make the best of a bad situation. A lot of them did things that they necessarily didn't agree with, but it was self-preservation.
yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if they try to play that out with some of these Imperials in terms of some of these guys are just like the guy that's ratting on Mira.
Well, like what we see from that book series, that's not very good. The one about the
Heard
fall
that.
of Aftermath.
Yeah. Oh,
We get like that. I mean, like the best parts were like the little snippets. The actual story, I thought it was kind of like very pedestrian, but the actual little snippets were cool. I just wish it was just an anthology of snippets. To be honest with you, that would have been more interesting. But
yeah.
you do kind of get the sense that the people rioting in the Return of the Jedi scenes now in canon
Mhm.
were the people, but the actual like bureaucrats and stuff, they're probably jumping out the windows like fucking Wall Street,
Mhm.
back in the day, kind of thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what I would imagine how it goes. But yeah. So yeah, early on in the beginning, we just we just have him wake up like and decide like we're fucking doing this, and then Cassian's out there cutting the fucking pipe. We got all the prisoners are like pretty down for it and stuff, and they go like right into the break. The plan that I think Cassian figured it out like day one, didn't he? He's like looking at the lift. He's like kind of like figuring it out. Like he has the plan like on his mind. He's obviously doesn't have the support for it.
Yeah. They're clearly making Cassian out to be someone that's very observant.
Yeah,
That's definitely a master characteristic that he has. I mean, he figured out like the Aldani thing that, like, hey, you're left-handed, you need to be on the outside, and he's watching the lift and what they're doing. He's figuring all this stuff out. One thing I was unclear about, and maybe I missed something.
uh-huh.
So he broke that water pipe, obviously, to
Okay, sorry.
disable the floor,
Yes.
but then the floor was disabled throughout the entire prison.
Yeah.
So are we to believe that if one floor goes, the whole system goes down, the whole entire prison, or was there more to it that I missed?
I could be
So I was
wrong,
like,
but I think originally like breaking the floor was to disable it where they were at, but then they end up getting up to level 8 and they start turning shit off. And when he says that, that's when he tells them that it's all off. So I don't think him breaking the one thing necessarily is what it was. I think when they got up to level 8 is when it all went down. When they got to the 2 guys.
Yeah.
But also, like, a part of me is still a little bit like fuzzy about why breaking that was even so important, because they all got like but I think it's because, remember they say get on the tables.
Mm-hmm.
Remember some of them don't, and they get shocked, but they're like, I'm okay. I think some of them say I'm okay.
Yeah.
After, so I think it mitigated enough for them to get up to level to get to the lift, to get to level 8, and then turn it all off.
Yeah,
That's how.
Why were some of them okay?
I'm guessing they were all okay, but I think it still hurt. It still shocked them. It still gave
that
him
guy
a
was
good
like
zap.
on his tippy toes.
Yeah, I think it still gave him a good zap. But I think I heard that. I could be wrong, but I think someone was like, "I'm cool," you know, basically. At least that's what I thought it. You know, that's how I thought it went.
And clearly, Andy Serkis was right in the middle of the room when it, went off, and he was unfazed completely. So yeah, but that's just, you would assume that they would have like a unit for each floor or each room, not like the whole entire place is connected to one grid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
But I think we're gonna have to go with Imperial design is inherently cheap and flawed, and about cost cutting, or else we just go, you know what, you couldn't have blown up the Death Star like that.
Man, that Galen Urso, man, he's on top of everything.
Galen Urso, it was his idea. He's like, you know what?
I put a flaw in the floor.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting concept. Have you guys ever heard of the Panopticon? I think it's called, like, concept.
The Autobot.
Well, no, yeah, it sounds like one. Basically, like, they created like this way of like where one prison guard could technically see all around, so one guard is able to do a hell of a lot, like more guarding. So it requires less guards for like more prisoners. Strangely, like, if you know, like in Costa Mesa, and there's these places, there's these giant malls that came about, and these giant malls are built like in the Panopticon sort of setting, but what it does is it does the same function as a prison, in that it keeps out the poors, and it keeps out the homeless people. It keeps out the people who shouldn't be there, who the undesirables. And but anyways, I like that if that prison is that, and then that, and then that. It's like a giant version of it. And yeah, so it's like kind of cool, like, and then they are able to almost make it like the Imperial cog at the same time, which is sort of like what the ISB office is as well, and kind of what's his name was put into. So I kind of like how the design in the show, it all rhymes like George Lucas says, but it's actually smart. Unlike George Lucas is like, oh, that rhymes. Oh yeah, I meant that. I meant that. Georgie meant that. Yeah, George meant that. But yeah. Roland says, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Mothma's storyline reminds me of Game of Thrones type writing. Yeah, it's very pretty much it. I mean, it is sort of a very, like, people are trying to betroth each other's fucking daughters and shit, like, for money and political gain and whatever,
Gosh, she was shaking, like,
I know.
she was really intense. I'm like, girl, it's not that bad.
You ever had Perrin come in your mouth? She has.
Wait,
Trust
what?
me. Yeah. Think about it. That's not fucking cool, man. Fucking Perrin. Nah,
That's
dude.
how she got pregnant.
Hey, you know how much Taco Bell that guy eats? Pretty much just Taco Bell. It's pretty
Looks
much
more like a White Castle guy, or maybe
pretty much a Baja Blast every meal.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's yeah, no, she definitely though was like, I am not letting Perrin 2 marry my daughter. And Skolden was a little classier than I thought he was going to be, though. I kind of thought Skolden was going to be a little bit more of a hey, my name is Skolden, kind of guy. A little bit of like more
douchey.
Yeah, more of a Rodney Dangerfield type or something. I don't know.
I don't know why
But
he reminded me of Lux Bonteri a little bit.
a little bit like grown up Lux.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wonder what that fool's up to. Is he still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oops.
they haven't done anything with him, so
Yeah. Maybe Ahsoka will make him a man in the TV show.
She's
Everyone's
like, let's fuck.
yeah, probably. Kidding.
Sorry.
But no, but yeah, but I mean the writing is super strong. I mean
Very good.
that's yeah.
mhm.
You know,
A different writer on this episode, right?
well, like I've listened to some interviews with Gilroy this week on podcasts that he's done and stuff like that. And like in one of the interviews, I don't remember which one it
He
was
says
now.
hi. Ooh.
Hey, what's up, dude? Yeah, I'll teach you.
That didn't work.
You know, the time is now. Climb, climb, kitty, climb. But no, basically, somebody was like, "Did you write the finale?" And he's like, yeah, I'm fucking credited. All right. Like you could tell like Gilroy, he's polite, but you could tell he's like very smart. So when you ask him a dumb question, just because not even a dumb question, just a question, because like you want to engage with him about the practicalities of the nuances of just the subtleties of what he does, it's
Yeah.
like pulling teeth to him. He's just like, fucking, are you crazy? Like, why are you asking it? But he basically goes on and says, like, yeah, I'm credited on it, but you know, like essentially him and his team did it all. So it's
Yeah.
not like one person gets the golf clap on the show according to him. And one thing that I thought was really interesting about it was he shared the story where he says his job on House of Cards at one point, I don't know if all the time, but at least at one point, was to literally critique the fuck out of it. And he talks about how like middle of the night he finishes one and he sends it off, and then like 20 minutes later or sometime later he writes the person like the showrunner. He's like, "Look, I just sent this thing. Don't send it to him. Like it's too mean. It's too fucked up or whatever." And then the guy's like, "By the time you critique it, you're critiquing me." Is what the guy said. You know, like the main guy who runs it or whatever.
Mhm.
And he was like, "Cool." But point is, the person that was telling House of Cards how to get their shit in order is the guy that's running this, and it shows. I mean, you know, and it works. So, yeah, Skolden equals William Dafoe's brother. Like bro, like just like isn't their homies or like his actual brother?
His brother. His brother.
We only saw Cassian and Melshi escaping on dry land. Must have been some nasties in that water. Yeah. I mean, I this isn't like a real critique. I didn't need to see it, but I felt like there could have been a whole nother episode of dudes on the water. Like in a weird way, like that was maybe the only time in the show. Like I said, I don't need it, but it's maybe the only time in the show that it took a shortcut on something that was truly probably grueling. And obviously, a Disney Plus show does not want to go film on water for fucking 4 weeks to give us like an episode of how they got out. But I like the geography of it for as positive as everyone's been about everything geographically in the show.
Yeah.
That was the one thing where I was like, I had no indication that these guys could. I thought I didn't know. I thought they were gonna like hijack a fucking submarine or something. I had no idea how they were gonna like make it, you know. So the fact that they just end up on this beach like a mile away or something like that was a little convenient. But once again, I don't think it's not the point. So at this point, the show has earned enough credit with me that I could let that one easily go.
Well,
But
they did cut out that whole like it was like a half an episode with Cassian on a raft floating through the ocean with a volleyball.
right,
You know,
right,
and,
yeah,
so-
yeah. I mean, no, but I mean, there is like, I mean, yeah, I mean, that could have been a whole story. I mean, when you really get down to it, like, but once again, I don't think anybody really wanted that. I actually want it.
Yeah.
I actually do want it, but it's fine. It's
What
fine.
what was the ship went down in World War II? The Indianapolis, was it?
Uh-huh.
Where the people all got eaten by the sharks? They should have
Yeah,
done that kind of shit, you know, like, you know, Cassian's just floating along and, you know, some sea
fucking
monsters just picking people off.
Dianoga starts fucking just grinding on him and stuff. He's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's probably some shit in that water. But yeah, so they're on Narkina, right?
Yeah.
They're on
Nakima
okay.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's not where he was vacationing. That's a different place, right? Because at first I was like, are we seeing that beach place that night? Because we saw because they filmed a scene where Cassian gives Melshi like a bag like of stuff, and they filmed it where they filmed the vacation spot stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure if that vacation spot set is doubling for two different planets because it's on the coast next to water. So it very well might, or if they end up actually going back to that planet and to getting Cassian's money and ship or something by some chance. You know, I don't know. But Narkina 5. That's right. Thank you. Thank you, Dale. Yeah.
Did you laugh when Kino said that he couldn't swim?
I wrote a song about it, making fun of it. Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll play it again at the end.
Oh. Sorry, I was getting ready.
No,
You
yeah,
missed my theory at the start of the show.
Stopped up. I'll be like, what's that?
Max missed my theory at the start of the show.
What?
Which one?
It was near the Snoke theory.
Oh yeah, he
right.
sounded like Snoke, totally.
Well, no, because Snoke also cannot swim, and neither can Kino. So, Snoke confirmed.
Oh.
Yeah, Shogun says,
person,
yeah,
right?
the
Yeah.
guard tower was in the middle of a
Mhm.
cylindrical prison, so the guard could see 360 every cell. Yeah, that's like the panopticon thing. That's something that we really have. I mean, that's like a real thing. But also notice it in your newer malls. Not your 80s malls, your 90s malls. We've just accepted that homelessness is cool malls, and you'll notice it's a thing. Yeah. Not that I agree with that for the people who can't read sarcasm. Yeah, the fucking internet. You know what I mean? I really had it. I really had it with fucking just these people on Twitter who think that they're so smart that they don't know the difference between sarcasm, or so disingenuous that they've decided that they won't read sarcasm so that way they can further their idea to make themselves feel important on the internet. Baymax says Skolden equals William Dafoe's brother. I still don't know what he means by it. Oh, it looks just like him. Okay. Yeah, you can do the spoiler thing now. Yeah. Well, I on this one, like I don't like to do spoilers like too close. Like when we have stuff like way out in advance, that's when I'm like, it's spoiler time. But like if I like learn something really close, then it'll make it into the dumb songs, but not into, you know. Usually
So you don't
not
want to tell
anyway.
them about the Bollywood musical number in episode 12 that ends the whole series?
Well, I can. We can talk about it if you want to.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people will be excited about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Deep Roy is like a lounge singer, and he shows up.
I thought he was an Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, he was Max like years ago. Come on, he's moved on. He's a little lounge singer now.
That's he plays the Oompa Loompa in Ahsoka, not in the series.
That's right.
Character. Yeah.
We actually learned that Ahsoka is two Deep Roys on each other's shoulders. Baymax says, I think they go back to Space Miami. Pretty sure the same palm trees are in that shot with Melshi. Yeah, no, I mean they definitely was filmed in the same place. But once again, I mean,
they better show Cassian and Melchi riding jet skis then.
Oh shit, that would be cool.
Yeah, like a beer commercial. They're doing high fives to each other. You know.
Yeah. I like that. Like the whole time, she's just like, yeah, let's fuck shit up. Like he's from day one. He's like, let's fuck shit up the whole time.
Yeah,
and
Melchi's pretty metal.
Yeah. I was watching Rogue One stuff last night, and I was like, he gets shot pretty good in it. So it's like you could assume that in Rogue One that he does die from those shots, but I don't think they like really show him die either.
Well, that Death Star blast might have something to do with it.
Probably blows everything else up, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean they could do it, but please.
But he might have gotten to the bunker. It might have been fine at the bunker. I'm just saying. Melchi lives. Hashtag Melchi lives. Start it.
Shit. Yeah. Okay.
Sugar said, did Kino feel like one of those guys who finally makes it out of prison but can't handle civilian life? There was a character like that in Shawshank movie. Yeah, he sort of had that thing where I think he made it to freedom and he got his boys out basically. And in a weird way, I think him having been like a paternal figure to them in the joint that was sort of like mission accomplished. And we know that the whole time he knows what the eventuality is. The minute that he decides, he says like, I'm already dead. He means it. He knows he is like literally already dead, because he's either going to drown out there or he's going to stand up there on the top and they're going to murder him for what he's done. And when he gets on the thing, he's not like, oh, hey, my name is whatever Cassian's fake name is. He gets on there and says, I'm Kino, whatever my last name is. Like, he like literally says it. So Kino does not live. If there's just no way. There's no Kino survives. We didn't see him die on screen, so he's alive. I doubt it. I mean, I doubt it.
It's Star Wars. Anything can happen.
Anything could happen.
Yeah,
You're
honestly,
right.
it's Andy Serkis. I mean, that's the biggest downfall, is that he's busy. He's got a schedule, and so if they wanted to do stuff like this, it's the kind of the stars have to align.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised they got him for multi-part episodes, but they did. Yeah. Thank you. I always forget. I have like a problem with the show and like its names. It's not that the names are bad. They just don't like click very well for me. Yeah, like Niamos, Space Miami Beach. It's just like, something that's just hard for me to like keep up with for some reason. Like Spellhouse and the other one. There's like another place, and I can never remember when
Steerguard or something.
Steerguard and
Yeah,
Spellhouse.
yeah.
They both feel like Norse mythology sounding, like
that sounded
Germanic.
like a law firm. Steerguard and Spellhouse.
Steerguard and Spellhouse. Yeah, right.
I agree with divorce.
I agree with you too. I'm not remembering the names and places of. Oh God, I was gonna sing a song. Never mind.
Yeah, no, but it will. And then I don't know about you, but like I'm like that at first, and then like years later I think back to it, I'm like, how could I not fucking remember that? I'm so fucking stupid.
No, you're not stupid.
I know.
Don't talk about yourself
stupid,
like that.
Stupid. No, but I mean it does become like second nature eventually. Then you're like, how did I struggle with that? But hey Murph, how's it going, dude? Good morning. Mr. flew to Florida for Fest a couple of hours after 2 eps ago. Flew to Florida for Fest.
Isn't that where Cassian's from? Fest?
Yeah, Fest. Cassian's not from there anymore, though.
Yeah.
Kino Loy. My name is Loy. Hey, Mr. Loy. You're a lawyer. Caden says that you look 30 tonight, James.
Yeah, well,
Oh, fucking. You know what? I think he's just looking up to you because I made fun of him for his computer questions earlier today, where he was all like, "Oh, what's my 720p? Do my doodad doody into my extra power, extra cooling." No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Vampirism is the secret here, Johnny.
Johnny, I'm kidding with you, Johnny. 2-part Ferrix Uprising and Saber Ship battle then for finale. Yeah, that appears to be the case. The Saber Ship hasn't shown up yet, so I thought maybe Saber Ship would be tonight. I think you did too, right, Baymax? I thought maybe that was going to happen, but then I thought about it later on, and I remembered that they were meeting Young on Coruscant, I think it was. So there was no reason for that. But I also thought maybe they were going to like pick up Cassian from the prison planet, and maybe it was like getting off the prison planet is when he would like do that, and then he'd be like, "I gotcha, you fucking asshole," and then they would like, and then they'd be like, "Well, what's going to happen next episode?"
How?
Yeah, well, I mean, right now Luthen doesn't even know where Cassian's at. Nobody does. So it would have been a lot to pack into an episode for them to have figured that out, gone there, stage all that.
Yeah, I was under the impression that Young told Luthen about Cassian what was up with that, but I don't think he did.
No,
I'm thinking that might have been in the original, like what they filmed, and not in the final cut, because I don't think Luthen knows. I could be wrong about that entirely though, but that was what I had heard happened, and yeah, that didn't happen.
Yeah, I know it would have been ridiculous if Luthen just happened to show up when they were doing a prison break.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
whoa, lucky day!
Well,
Look at my timing, you know.
I thought Young was going to go up, tell him what was up, and he was going to be like, so that's where he is, and then he was going to somehow go like, there's a riot on Narkina 5, and then he was going to show
That
up
sounds like a
somewhere in
Johnny
that.
Cash song right there.
Yeah, right. Narkina 5. Yeah,
No, there's another song, Jason.
there we go.
Uh,
When Kino leads the charge and he yells, Total Apes vibes. Yeah, that's true. What's going to
because
be
we
the
ever started
crescendo?
walking as Knuckles, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I was. I mean, obviously, to me, the crescendo of the series is going to be Cassian's planet literally having an uprising. But of course, they're going to get fucked up for it. That's like the other side is that this is what so it's like it makes me think of the Sex Pistols. The Sex Pistols would put swastikas on their jackets, not because they wanted to make the symbols of the post World War II bullshit.
Oh,
Okay, there's a ghost. That was weird. But they wanted to make it like swastikas and stuff like that not mean anything. But then they also wanted to make everybody so angry that they tore everything down, because when you tear everything down, then you can build it back up into something new. And it's a it's anarchy. It's anarchy, but that's what he wants. That's literally what he wants. He's willing to sacrifice all of those people on Ferrix. He's willing to sacrifice all of the people everywhere to make everybody get really angry and become homeless and whatever, if it means that they're going to turn into rebels and burn the system down. So that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to end with it seeming real cool. And I think we're going to pick up next season and see wasn't so cool. That revolution's very costly. Like Civil War and Revolution, it's not, when you hear about it, it's like, yeah, then we rise up and then all the problems are fixed. It's like, no, you rise up and then the problems begin.
that's a little more like Tiananmen
it's
Square.
like-
We're gonna see.
It's like throwing your beer at Ted Cruz and then getting arrested like the next day.
Yeah, or that Trumper who threw the beer at the comedian and then she drank it and it was fucking cool as shit.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I did like that. I like those names, but it's because I like Norse mythology a lot. Yeah, no, I like them too. I think Spellhouse is like a fucking cool name. Like it sounds pretty rad. It sounds like you'd have like really magical sausage on that planet.
I just think of
Ooh.
Millhouse when I hear that. So
Millhouse.
yeah,
Love magical
really
sausage.
big glasses.
Yeah, I lived on Ball Road by Disneyland, heard the fucking fireworks every night. It was so annoying. But there was like a German restaurant like right next to it. I think it was called Jaeger House. That's
It's
what I
called
think of.
Jägermeister, I know.
Yeah, not Jaeger House. And I would go there and they would have like all these like sausages and be like, well, this one's good, this one's bad, this one's really bad, and this one's very good. I could never tell which one was which, so I never knew what to order. So I went there like twice and I quit. So I'm done with German food. I got no time for this shit. Too much work. But Mercury says, I take my cell and I love it and I hold it and I pet it. I'm good, Roja. But yeah, Fest is punk though. Oh, okay. The punk festival in Gainesville that just turned 20. Saw like 30 bands. Oh, that's cool. Hope you don't get COVID, but I hope it was fun. Suck the blood of 27-year-olds, James.
That's the key.
Yeah.
That's not all.
James is like, yeah.
It's rough being me sometimes,
he's all it's really a curse that women in their 20s love me. No, Dell says, I'm always thinking of you. What did you sacrifice? I know I was laughing like that was so fucking like condescending, and like when he's all, I'm always thinking of you, young. I'm always thinking, like, it was like he was like, fuck man, I'm never getting out of this. And they start calling him a hero. Yeah, you're a hero. We need heroes.
Yeah, it was super creepy. It's like,
Yeah.
you ever see a naked picture of your mom? Would you like to? Like, what?
Yeah. So Marva dying into watching. Yeah. So like they're like still waiting for Cassian there, but I think Marva's, I don't know. I'm thinking that she is going to do something drastic next episode.
All right, so I think I might have missed the last part. She's not taking her medicine? Is that what they said?
She's not taking the medicine that the doctor gave her, saying that it ruined her appetite and she would rather eat.
Yeah, okay.
Is what she was basically saying. But for all I know, for all we know, she's saving up all that medicine to make a suicide cocktail for what she's going to go do, or poison or something, you know.
Or she's got like methamphetamines in there. She's like starting a meth lab, you know. She's grinding up that stuff. And
what you're suggesting is that she's going to go in crackhead strong with crackhead superpowers. Flocka, it's Florida. I'm in Flocka, Florida.
I wasn't, but now I want that.
She's I can do anything.
Lonnie has to be Luthen's son. Why do you say that?
Because his name starts with an L. I think that's why.
Lonnie and Luthen. Lonnie, Luthen, and Luke Skywalker. I think it's.
And their last name is Anderson.
Lonnie Anderson. Fuck you, Max. Del says. Flipping Star Wars. It's pretty good, right, Nick? It was pretty good. Del says, I told my ex-girlfriend I don't. You know, I don't cuddle. You know, I don't cuddle. Do you know what I've given up for this rebellion? I don't think that's gonna work very, very much, but you could try it. This is I like that Luthen was continuing to lie to Young too, regarding Aldhani pretending no involvement. Yeah, he's sticking to the story on that.
Yeah.
And it says something. What I liked about it was he talks about ego in that speech.
Yeah,
he's talking about like the ego that brought him into it. But when he's not taking credit for any of the spectacle. I mean, come on, everybody's ego kind of wants to go, it was me, but he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it at all. And so it's yeah, so he kind of, when he becomes a rebel, he's like, he did some shrooms and he had ego death. And then he came on the other side a rebel, and it's not about that anymore. You know?
Yeah. What's weird is, you know, he gave this long monologue, but we really don't know anything more about him as a result. I mean, he said a lot and nothing at the same time, because he didn't illuminate anything in his backstory.
You know what it did tell us? He doesn't love Clea. He's not. I'm not saying like maybe they don't bone sometimes, because, you know, shit happens. Maybe they do, but he says, nah, no love. And that to me says everyone's on the chopping block if the cause requires it. He'll throw Clea under the bus if it makes sense. He's throwing 50 men under the bus to keep him in that position right then. And I knew something was up with that. There was some reason, obviously there was some reason, but I was like, I thought that the ship that fucked up with the dead pilot, with the pilot that they're going to kill, I thought like maybe that was a ruse by them for some reason to like maybe incite something else by sending it in and then exposing that they did it. But no, it was a mistake. But the reason that we have that in the narrative is to prove exactly what the value of having that guy high up in the ISB is. But hot water and music covered Riot on Nakina 5 at Fest. Michael says Luthen got scary this episode. He's almost a villain. It would take one nudge to push him out of the light. Yeah, honestly, Michael, I don't think he's actually in the light. Like I said, like when you get down to what like the hippy dippy Star Wars Rebels cast would say, like, we're all a family, and like Ezra's like, I can't do that, you know, to stuff like that. No, I'm gonna say he is firmly not in the elite, and he even admits it. He says, like I said, he says that he fucking takes on the tactics of his enemies, and once he does that, that's the exact opposite of what Mon Mothma would do. They literally say we're not going to become them. She's basically doing the Hillary Clinton, when they go low, we go high, or whatever the Obama said. That was bullshit at the time.
Well, it reminds me. There's a good book that I read once. It's called The Renegade History of America, and it goes into a lot of these kind of like uncomfortable truths and facts about things.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that it postulates is that the only reason Martin Luther King was successful was because Malcolm X was like, I'm going to burn fucking towns to the ground. And it was like, well, you can either listen to this guy that wants to like start a riot and fuck shit up, or you can listen to this guy that says turn the other cheek and is preaching peace, love, and happiness. And so it was kind of like, we want this guy because at least he's not advocating violence. So we'll give him a shot to calm everybody down.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like the carrot and the stick. It was like, you can either get this guy that wants to fuck shit up, or you can listen to this guy. And it's like, okay. And it's like, you can't have one without the other.
But there's also like Luthen's tactics here. The MLK group did things like Rosa Parks was like rehearsed. They tried it with the 16-year-old girl first, pregnant 16-year-old girl. It didn't work because for whatever reason, the maniacs at the time weren't sympathetic to a 16-year-old pregnant girl. So then they said, okay, back to the drawing board, went back, did it again on purpose with Rosa Parks, the old lady. And that was obviously highly effective in terms of like, so like, yeah, things are, and like, as he's showing us and Tony Gilroy, talks about how he's an amateur student of history. He says, I'm a white guy. I like history. So I'm an old white guy. I like history. And, but he just reads about revolutions. He's really into it.
Yeah.
So he's pulling from all of these various revolutions and the tactics that get in there. And so I think with Luthen, he's pulling on some common themes about how things happen. Things really don't generally happen organically.
Yeah.
Uprisings and riots can, but not revolutions.
And that was a huge missed opportunity, I think, with the sequels, because I think what's interesting is that it's okay, you're in charge. Now what do you do? Like even like, our own revolution, when Washington became president, then you had the Whiskey Rebellion.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden it's like, tax collectors are being tarred and feathered and they come into town. And it's like they went to the president and said, hey, you either need to show some authority that you're in charge or you have anarchy. And so he had to send in troops against U.S. citizens to say, no, you're not going to fuck with our tax collectors. And show that, this is a legit government and we have power.
Yeah.
And so now all of a sudden you have to kind of fill in that role that your oppressor was filling in, where you have to be the bad guy.
Yeah. Gilroy was talk. They were trying to get Gilroy to talk about like making Star Wars in the Trump's post-Trump America or whatever. They were trying to get him to go into that place. And he was like, look, man, he's like, I don't sit down and start writing like, oh, I'm going to get Trump. Like, I don't start it like that at all. So you could probably guess where my politics lie. But he goes on to say, like, I think if you took this show and you moved it back 10 years, people would just identify it with it in completely the same terms, but for different people.
Yeah.
Melodies.
I think Tony Gilroy's playing it pretty straight down the line, because he said, like, with Mira, it's like, well, it's important to show that women can be assholes too. It's not just like, the evil white man. Evil comes in all different forms, shapes, and sizes.
Just say Max. Just say Max if you want to. If you just say what you mean.
Yeah. Well, Max is a different kind of evil.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm a different kind of an asshole.
Yeah,
that's fair.
She's our kind of asshole.
Yeah. I don't know. I think most of the people in the United States who want revolution will realize about 5 minutes that they're too fat to go fight in one, and that they really can't do much more than go to Walmart and the Golden Corral.
Yeah. No, shit's got to get real uncomfortable for people to get that crazy.
Yeah. Rocco says it doesn't seem like much COVID. I'm sure a few people are positive but negative, but oh yeah, I know. I'm just a paranoid bitch, dude. Everyone needs to listen to "Thinking of You" by the Blue Beats. Okay, but I'm gonna by the Blue Beats, "Thinking of You." All right, I'm gonna add that to my music for tomorrow. And if it sucks, I'm gonna fucking make a lot of fun of you for a very long time. And because I have a very high curated list of music here, and if you've interrupted, no, I'm kidding. But fuck, what record is that on? Singles and EPs. Well, okay, I'm gonna add this song just for now because I don't got all day, and then I'll go find the interview tomorrow. But anyways, yeah. So everyone in Star Wars is related. That's true. Star Wars is one big incest baby. um, so she will blow up the underground tunnel beneath the hotel where the ISB goons are stationed. Yeah, that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good theory. I mean, I would think so, anyways.
Yeah.
Next episode, he talks about Jason's favorite ska band and the super. He goes, "It's always left on me."
It and the super egos. Yeah.
I was mostly happy to see him with the wig. Yeah. I know. In Santa's I did Santa's survey just before the episode. I finally found it. I couldn't find it this week for some reason. And I found it and did it, and it was like somebody wears a disguise, and I'm like, if we know Luthen's in it, there's a disguise. So
I want to do something special with that that clip when he's putting on his wig and make something fun. Actually, I'm going to do it.
Take that one. Take the lines from what's that fucking Jodie Foster movie with Hannibal Lecter? Silence of the Lambs. Have him putting it on with the lambs. I'd fuck me. No, Baymax says, when Luthen referred to the ego that brought him into rebellion, I took it as reference to Palpatine. When Luthen referenced to the ego that brought him into rebellion, you didn't think it was self ego? You thought it was like somebody else's ego that was bringing it in? I'll have to watch it again and see, because I took it as his own ego, but I've hung out with way too many people that have done mushrooms and told me that shit. So that's probably where my head was. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the problem with most leaders is that they usually feel they have some kind of innate calling in life to change shit, whether it's, so whether they have good intentions or not, there's always a sense of ego in there. Of like, I'm destined for this kind of shit or something. Yeah.
Nick Saw, where can I get an ISB Mac coat from? You're the one who was fucking there, Nick. Nick on Best Friend Bulletin's Instagram this week, like posted some videos where he went to like the the place where Clea goes and like looks at like the markings on the ground and stuff. Yeah. Like he went to those spots. But he did not wear the fuck me boots. So
wait, I saw that. I think I saw that video.
So a little disappointed, but good job. It was
so it's Nick want to be a flasher, because as soon as I see that trench coat, I think of some guy that's going to be walking around like I was ready for that guy to walk in the room and be like, hey.
I'm just gonna say, if I could grow that mustache, I would definitely like have the pubes that were like the same mustache, so like a mustache here and a mustache there, like a double mustache. I mean, that's what I would do. I mean, that's more of a suggestion really than anything. But you need more likes. Thank you, obviously, sub dude. Yeah, I like the videos, you jackalopes. There's a lot of railings in Space Gel. Oh yeah, there was a lot of railing. Yeah. Did you notice that they break a railing? That's like one side. They like break a railing. She said that.
There's some irony that there's no railings in Star Wars, but somehow they care about their prisoners falling. It's like, you're working on this reactor. Just hold on for dear life, if you're a prisoner, hey, we don't want you to fall.
Well, it's hilarious when people fall into the reactor, because then they become bionic, probably. Yeah. Logging in. Thanks, man. You're a nut. I love you. Murph Cake says Space Gap.
Oh, you weren't talking to me.
I love you too, Max. Michael E. Tendon says, who else thinks the actress playing Clea looks and sounds like Carrie Fisher? Sounds like Carrie Fisher? She's like a British lady, but I will say she's got Carrie Fisher hotness going. I'll give her that.
Yeah. She doesn't have that chain smoker voice like Carrie had. You got young Carrie, old Carrie.
Yeah, Carrie's like, I'm smoking a pack, drinking some whiskey,
Yeah.
doing some coke.
Good tell.
A couple days.
Yeah.
How's it going? I'm Carrie Fisher. But so I'm not gonna give you the voice, but I'll give you everything else.
Mm.
But yeah, I hear like I see theories like that's Princess Leia, you guys, and it's just like, dude, she's like 11, not you, Michael, but it's like, dude, she's like 11 years old. Like you just saw her in Kenobi. And then like you see her like in this show, it's about the same. It's like a couple years difference, but point being, she's like a fucking lady. Like it's not the same. And same thing with it with her being Cassian's sister. It would be bad casting if it's Cassian's sister. No, not only I believe she's a white lady, she's a white British lady, so that would make it kind of strange.
Well,
but
Carrie
also,
went into British mode.
True, but she's supposed to be like 18 years old. Or Cassian's sister should be about 18 years old at this point. Clea doesn't look 18, but then again, Cassian is like a 40-year-old man playing like a 21-year-old, I think. So I'll roll with it, if it comes down to it. But
sure.
Yeah, well, that's true. Crystal Park was only 42 when she refused to go back to the bus. I'm 42. Who are you calling old? I'm 43, man. Rosa Parks is like my fucking. Me and Rosa Parks could go out. All right. Yeah. What?
Yeah, who's this guy?
Who's this?
We don't need your charity. We don't need your charity, Sketchcraft. No, thank you, Sketchcraft. Clea could have been in Clue. She's Mrs. Scarlet material for a show. Yeah, it's true. Today, Sketchcraft scolded me for not watching my Tony Gilroy interviews that he had found and that were very good. And I did my homework. I listened to them all. I didn't have the kids today for the first time in a couple of days, and I listened to them all. They were pretty good. It was interesting hearing him. I was both intrigued and annoyed with this interview that he did on the music podcast, because he's like, I'm a bit of like a musician, but he doesn't really go into what he plays or what he did. She didn't like ask him any questions about it. She was just like, yeah, you're an amateur.
He's like, I play the Moog.
Yeah. Well, that's what I play. You're making fun of me? No. But no, but I was just like, yeah, I wanted to know more about like what do you play, Tony Gilroy? You playing piano? You playing, what are you doing?
Bagpipes.
He's like, let's jam.
He's all, I'll play the ukulele.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we all play the recorder in like grade school, so. I'm a bit of a musician myself.
Yeah. but he was talking about how his music, being a bit of an amateur musician or whatever he called it. I don't know if he's an amateur, but allows him to have a vernacular that allows him to put together the temp music pretty well. And then when he deals with the composer, they're able to get places, They may have done mushrooms, but have they done tattooing lizard? That's probably what he was doing. That's probably what he did. He's like, we're a rebellion, man. The Tusken Raider's like, will you get the fuck out of our desert, please? Oh, Nick has a part 2 coming soon. All right. Has it been filmed yet, or do you have to go film it still? Because we're looking forward to it. Love Luthen's monologue at the end. So well written. I know. Like between that and, I mean, that's like the thing about the show is his monologue or conversation that he has with Saw Gerrera is really good as well. And you see one of those and you go, okay, but they did it twice. And that's where you're like, yeah, this is seriously good. This is like seriously like an amazing show. And anyone who disparages this show, in my opinion, is a fucking idiot.
This show sucks.
Max?
Just kidding.
Max? I respect your opinion, so I will remain silent.
Just kidding.
Fucking idiot. Fucking idiot. What?
No,
what?
Nothing.
I didn't say anything. Fucking idiot. No, yeah, Dark Side Leia vibes. Yeah, for the rebellion. Yeah, it's true. It is sort of like, yeah, like dark side Leia, and
Yeah.
they're sort of like the inverse. I mean, he is kind of our dark side Bill Organa in a way, I guess, maybe.
Yeah. Leia, Clea. Maybe
Leia,
she's a
Clea.
clone, evil
it's so
clone
close.
of Leia.
It's close.
Yeah.
Mm.
Her full name is Princess Clea.
She's from Calderon.
Yeah. And then
Organa.
his name is Fail Belgana. Fail Belgana. But look like Carrie. Yeah.
Oh,
we lost
we lost Max. Get some kitty troubles.
Indoors just smells like cigs. I was gonna say maybe like minty pine, but if you insist, I could see Ewoks smelling like cigs though.
Oops.
Welcome back.
Sorry.
Return of the Jedi had seen some shit. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, not the accent. Just mean like her like the tone of her voice. Okay, I'll see you. I'll meet you in the middle on that one. As the truth says, Clea is Leia, Kino is Snoke, Dave and John are retconning the Disney trilogy. John and Dave are winning the Civil War.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Take that, woke Disney.
Everybody knows that as it true knows that all Civil Wars begin in wrestling shows and space shows. That's how you know it's coming. Sketchrob says, Rob says he got into the music stuff specifically in the Mark Maron interview. Okay, cool. That one I still haven't heard, so I guess you fucking got me, Teach. I didn't do all the homework. I'm gonna listen to 2 hours of Gilroy interviews today. I guess I'll add the fucking third on so that way tomorrow you can be okay with how the show goes. Fucking taskmaster. Jesus.
Is he stalking Tony Gilroy now? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah.
Seems a little obsessed with him.
Yeah, he's
it's not healthy, Rob. He needs some hobbies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He calls it his Choroy time. Leslie Ann Warren was so effable in Clue, says Junior Jangles.
Oh, I totally liked Mrs. White.
Betty White?
Yeah. No.
Dale, that's why they make tissues, buddy. That's why they make tissues. Pro tip. Baymax says, you think there will be some sort of mic drop moment regarding Luthen that raises the stakes for season 2? I think he's hiding something massive. They've shown his ship with bled Kybers. They've shown holocrons. I don't, man. I just don't really think that. I don't think that, like, I think Tony Gilroy is truly into Revolution, and chalking up the reasons for it would be like him going, oh, it was like the satanic panic is real, and that's why it happened somewhere. It's just it's I don't think so. But what I do think that we're going to have, and he said as much, is that we're going to have a moment, probably in season, I think it's in season 2, where the Saw Gerrera types and the ethical rebellion separate, and that divide happens. And so I think it's pretty, I mean, I think after this episode, it's very clear Mon Mothma might have to marry her daughter off. That might be her like compromise that she does for the cause, which is sacrificing your daughter's happiness, but at the same time,
she's
considering,
a little bitch.
Well, because she's a little bitch. She's a fucking little bitch. She's fucking stuck up. She's a little fucking kind of stupid. She's more of a parent. Let's be honest here. But at the same time, people in that rebellion are sacrificing a hell of a lot more than their fucking love life. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that big of a deal compared to what everybody else in the show has been doing for this whole season.
Yeah. People are wiping their ass with pine cones on Aldani, and she's like sitting in her Coruscant apartment. Yeah.
Yeah. And her thing is she has to marry another rich guy that's just rich like her, and who she's probably going to be a little fucking Sansa Stark and into it at first anyways. So, you know what I mean?
A what?
remember in Game of Thrones when
never mind.
when the older Stark sister wants to marry Joffrey in the beginning because she thinks he's so fucking fine. Then he started shooting a fucking crossbow at her later, and she learned her fucking lesson on that one. That'll teach her.
That'll learn you.
Gilroy is my hobby. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nick says Luthen is actually Palpatine's brother. I'm kidding. It's not that sort of show. Yeah. That's where I'm at with it. But what I do think that we're going to have to go back to what Baymax was like addressing is that it just what he's willing to do. Mon Mothma and Bail Organa are not going to be the fucking hippie from Alderaan is not going to be about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because like there's a big difference. I think like when you got Princess Leia going around and all of the other texts going hope everywhere, Luthen has no hope at all.
Yeah.
He's like he doesn't believe in luck. He's like you make your own luck. He's all hope. You make your own hope, and he's smoking dope like Bob Hope. No, Ryan, I had to say it, but he's just going to create the situations to get what he wants. He's not hoping for anybody to magically save him or be good or anything like that. I think he's completely lost. So there will be an ideological divide, and I think it may even. I don't know how many episodes he has to do everything that he could do. But I think if he was doing all of the seasons that he was originally going to do, there would definitely be an episode where we see they could have fucking done it already. They could have taken the Empire down, but because of this ideological divide, nothing's happening now, and it's become stagnant until Rogue One. I think we're gonna see something like that, or we would have. I'm sure he'll talk about it because I mean that's always the whole thing is like. It's not until everyone gets their shit together and forms up and goes down the middle to attack the Death Star that we actually have action.
You get the impression in Rogue One that Saw Gerrera is kind of done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because he's like, I'm done running. I'm gonna just die here. You're just totally fucking giving up at that point.
Yeah.
So
once again,
happened.
Yeah. Well. I mean, he's got probably gassed on Geonosis. Maybe. We kind of thought that was going to be. I feel like I don't know if that ended up being a plot thread that didn't go anywhere in the end.
He was annoying in that episode.
On Rebels.
Clone Wars. Yeah. No. It was Rebels.
Rebels. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's such a kiddie show. It's like the most kid friendly show aside from Resistance that
it was not the place. It was not the place to like tell that story at all.
Right. Yeah.
Fucking
it's like bringing Jeffrey Dahmer into
Rebels was better than Resistance.
I mean, it just doesn't work. It's like it's not the right place for that guy.
You're making a lot of sense to me right now. I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't work. It sounds great. Dahmer on children. Married with children. Buck. Maybe Dahmer's Buck's the voice in Buck's head. Anyways, Luthen is actually Palpatine's brother. So we all agree.
Mm-hmm.
Mon should have been fuck yeah, let's get her out of my hands. Take Perrin while you're at it. Luke says
deal.
Do you think there's a chance we see Kino next season?
That'd be funny. He's like, hey,
so what's up?
I made it.
Turns out I float. Turns out this is like a salt sea and I was fine. Just floated right to shore. I'm cool. Yeah. No, they weren't even mad. They said they were pretty impressed. So they said I could go.
They were pretty high jumping into the water.
Oh, that kind of high.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the thing is at that level, at that height, you couldn't just like jump in the water and maybe learn how to swim and make it work because you're gonna go so far down. You have to learn how to swim to make it up. It's true. Have you ever jumped off like a really high diving board?
Yeah.
Like you go down pretty fucking deep, and you're like, the first time you kind of
especially if you're
like
a.
Well, if you guys are real fans, you'd know that Narkina 5's gravity is like 0.72 that of Earth's, so really it's not that bad.
Yeah. Well, if you were
real fans would know that.
Yeah, if you had read the West End role playing games source guide, you would know that if you just go down there and you do the siren call, a Dianoga will come and you can mate with it, and it will take you up to the service, and then it will then therefore be loyal to you for the rest of your life.
Who do you think wrote that?
Oh shit, Schooled. Yeah, but I was kind of hoping we were going to see like Perrin a little bit, but the other thing that I wanted to bring up though, to go back to what BMX is saying, is that Homeboy knows Perrin.
Mm-hmm.
So when she hears that, she's like, "Oh God, like you and Perrin are fucking hanging out with strippers together."
Like,
that was kind of like the implication. Yeah, that they're basically both fucking partying with Massamita and shit.
Yeah, who wouldn't want to party with Perrin? As much as he's a dick, that's the kind of guy you want to hang out with on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, he's probably pretty fucking cool if he's not, you know, being a fascist. He's cool.
Do you think he cheats on her?
Right.
All the time?
Hell yeah.
I mean, he's like when he's spying on her in the earlier episodes, he's literally talking to hot women in most of the time that he's doing it. I don't think that's just like a coincidence. Like they were just like, you know, I think that was by design.
That's just a Chandrillan tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how they do it.
Got to Chandrill him. He drills them all. That's what they call him. They call him the Chandriller.
The Chandriller?
Perrin porno. The Chandriller.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's true. But one of the problems about just even bringing him up is now I have to do it.
Oh my God. For a second, I thought that was Rob.
Rob, is it time that we let them know that you are in Andor? That you are Perrin? Perrin definitely gets the first drinks in. Yeah, you're right, Nick. You're definitely right. Michael says George was probably bummed at the lack of Gungans. He's like Gungas. George, are you calling them Gungans? Yeah, that's what I said. The Gungans.
The Gungans.
Yeah. But it was actually really funny. There was a spoiler report from back then, and the person who leaked that literally says that. Like they're either Gungans or Gungans. I'm not sure because I keep hearing both. and it was real. I was like, it's really funny. Junior Jingle says, "What do you think George Lucas thinks of Andor?" My guess is it isn't the first. It's the first show he loves, especially the homage to Prison and THX. So glad they didn't shave all their heads. Yeah, you know, I want to think that George would like it and would ultimately think it's like this is really cool. It's something that like I would have wanted to do but didn't do. At the same time, I could see George feeling that it's like just not what Star Wars is to him or something. I could see that being the case too. I really don't know what to expect.
I could see him thinking it's a bit of a downer because even look at Tucker. He wanted to give Tucker a happy ending. He said like, you know, he's trying to find a way. It's like, but it did not end well for Tucker.
Yeah, just like a man
no way to do it.
And his dream. Yeah. I'm curious. I'm curious what George would think of it or does think of it if he's seen it.
Let's ask him.
All right. Well, I can't because he's in the fucking chat, hanging out in the chat, being like, oh, sleep. Gotta get my beauty sleep. Drawn. That's, you know, instead. So here we are.
That was George. What, 42, right? It's not getting any better at 42, Rob. You don't need beauty sleep. It is what it is. Just accept it.
On a side note,
can look like the 30, you know.
To go back to the Rosa Parks thing, I saw this like video, and they were like, "Did people actually used to look older, or were people actually like older before?"
I saw that too.
Yeah, you saw it too, and it was like talking about like smoking and drinking, and like how we don't do it, and then also sunscreen. Like, so when you do look back at like yearbooks from like in the 50s and shit, those people look like they're 40. Some of them look fucking super old.
They look like they're adults.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Simpsons episode where they go to Arizona
Nuh-uh.
and they're lost, and Homer and Marge. Homer's like, "Well, let's ask this elderly couple," and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm 32."
Yeah.
Because they're all like their faces like dried and wrinkled. I mean, yeah, if
Yeah.
you live in a desert where there's no humidity, it kind of sucks for your appearance.
True.
So you start looking like Keith Richards by the time you're 30.
Yeah.
It's the way it
Yeah.
is.
It's true. But yeah, well, anybody else? Do you guys have any more thoughts on the episode before we call it a night? Anything else you guys wanted to hit on? Like it was pretty straightforward. Break
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. I'm just
Mhm.
wondering where they end this stuff. I mean, they got 2 episodes to go, and granted, it's 2 hours almost of content. So it's
Is
it's
this-
a lot. It's like a whole movie practically, but still, I don't know
Is
where
this the shortest-
where they're leading to.
Is
Yeah.
this the shortest episode?
It felt I got on pretty early.
Yeah, the runtime
that
was
was-
like, I think like 35 minutes or something, like, or 38 minutes without the credits. It was short. It was
I
definitely
think it was
under
like
40 minutes.
29, but
No, it wasn't quite that short, but yeah, it was short.
I thought it was 28. Whatever, Max. I could do that too. I could do that too.
It's metric.
what is
It's
27?
metric.
I thought it was 26. Tell says Ahsoka calls up Willie and gives him the lowdown on the Inquisitor she killed. Willie, Mod, Ship, and Kyber, and super duper hyperdrives. I want to see his shot. It was less than 40. Yeah, it was less than 40. I usually give it usually goes up about 10 minutes early, and I usually schedule the show for like 50 minutes after the hour, like 12:50. And I think I was in like 12:30 something today.
Yeah.
So that's why I just kept playing music for a bit so that people knew we were going live.
Mm.
Nick says, does anyone know the runtime of the last 2 episodes? Reckon they might make the last episodes longer, Stranger Things style? Yeah, I'm not expecting it to be like notably longer, but it's certainly possible. But I'm hoping for like 2 50-minute episodes is what I'm hoping for.
Like a
But
season finale.
Well, but it could also be a situation where like we get like the next episode's like 15 minutes, and then the last one is like everything just coming to a head, and it's like this episode where it's like a 30-minute episode again.
Like
But it
everything
is
crammed.
Well, it is a 2-parter though.
Yeah.
It is like a 2-parter. And Gilroy in the interviews that we listened to today was talking about how like budgetary stuff was an issue on the show. Like people get going, they have unlimited budget. It's like he's saying no. He was saying like one of the challenges is that he would write characters into episodes that they couldn't afford to bring back into the episode. So like, you could just go, oh yeah, and then this is where Clea shows up, but in reality you have to have the actor there and coming back and stuff like that, and that's just not financially viable for all of it. So some things had to be changed. Like I mean that's like normal, that's like any show, but that's
I will say that's the one thing that you really have to miss about Lucas running the show, because like even when they were doing Underworld and they had the writers group and they wrote 100 scripts or something, they said, or
I think it was they wrote 3 seasons of about, I think it was 12. I believe it was 12 episodes.
Yeah.
With a 3-part opener. So I think the first season was like 15 to 16 episodes.
Yeah.
So I think they were going to be like 16 episode seasons.
Scripts. Yeah.
And then the first season was done, more or less done. Second and third seasons, not so much.
Yeah, but certainly, I mean, and a lot of things have changed obviously since then, but the difference between being a feature film writer and a TV writer is you really have to work within the confines and the restrictions of budget on TV. And so those people that he brought into that writer's room were TV writers that are used to doing the workarounds budget wise. And when he brought him in, they all said like, he was just like, just write it and we'll figure out how to shoot it. And so if Lucas had done Andor, he would have told Gilroy, just fucking leave it in there, just do it and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I mean, Lucas has a pretty good track record of figuring it out. I mean, as much as we can critique the prequels and how they turned out.
To be fair though, Underworld never figured it out. Got close though.
Yeah, well, you have to think. I mean, he was just a little bit ahead of his time. They weren't quite ready for the volume, because you think if you'd done the volume even 5 years older than Mando, what would that have looked like?
Yeah.
Probably not so great.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, he talked about Gilroy talked about that too. He said like he's like, we didn't exactly use the volume on this show, but we used like walls of LEDs. And that's what I think my source was talking about from Mon Mothma's apartment.
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff on the outside and shit like that. So yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I mean, if Lucas had done it, I think they would have just, even if it didn't look spectacular, they would have, we're doing this and we're not compromising the story at all. We're not sacrificing anything. And they would have just done it. And so that is something to be missed. But, the fact that if Gilroy pulls this off, given those restrictions, and I'd certainly like to hear him talk about that more in terms of what they wanted it to be and what it couldn't be. But if they pull it off, man,
he wasn't being like, oh, my hands were tied. He was just like, like if like money's an issue, and then this one money was an issue. Like,
yeah.
So it did sound like he used the budget basically that he had. Like so yeah. So it's just like, you could have Clea, like I said, you could have Clea showing up in every single fucking episode for one scene, but then you're having like it opens up a whole new budget line doing that. I think that's probably pretty huge. So I think that's kind of where what he meant. So
yeah. No, it always annoys me when people are like, Lucas wrote the prequels around the special effects and stuff like that. I'm like, if anything, he wrote the original trilogy around the special effects because they knew there were shit that they just couldn't do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why Coruscant didn't show up in Return of the Jedi, and it's not because, he changed his mind. It's because he looked at it and said, it's going to cost a fucking fortune, and I don't know if we can even pull it off. So
yeah, was it called Had Abaddon?
Had Abaddon, yeah. And there's supposed to be 2 Death Stars and stuff. It was way more ambitious.
Yeah,
but yeah, at the end of the day,
Abadar.
Had Abaddon.
Had Abaddon.
Yeah.
It's a pretty metal planet. They should bring that shit back. And then Roland, when we were seeing Luthen, when we were seeing Young go to visit Luthen, I thought of 1313. When I saw those scenes, I was like, this is probably what that would have looked like.
Yeah.
That's what I thought to myself when I saw that scene of him walking to the elevator to meet Luthen. Kino says, all you idiots swam. I just waited for the job. Yeah. Kino, his name is Kino Reno. He's a gambler. All right, everybody. It's 2 a.m. I'm going to go to bed. It's probably later for you guys, but
yeah,
a bit.
4 a.m. o'clock.
4 a.m. o'clock. Yeah, Texas needs to fix their time
in the morning.
That's called Texas time. Everything's bigger.
Yeah.
So it's later. But yeah. I'll be back. We'll be back on to actually do like an actual like review, more closer, something closer to a review. This is like our. I call this impressions. This is impressions. This is like I have only saw it once. I don't know exactly why the fucking flooding the thing was there. Exactly what it meant. But next time I'm gonna like we ask the questions here. I go back and I look at it and I go.
No, it was supposed to weaken the jolting or the.
It was there was pee-pee in that water, and they go, ew, gross, and everybody gets on the tables, nobody gets shocked.
Yeah,
it's masterful manipulation. No?
Yeah, why couldn't you just pee on the floor? Just if that pipe didn't burst, what was that
everyone?
Plan B. I would just whip them out and start going to town.
Yeah, that's how I do it. You ever want to go into a Walmart and there's somebody peeing on the floor in the bathroom? It's me.
That's you.
No. Yeah, it shorted out the floor on Cassian's level, and then I think they go, and then when they get up to level 8, that's when they turn off the floor for everybody else, because then he tells them your floor is good. Then we see that guy jump down and is like, this guy ain't lying. So that was what I thought.
Yeah,
but we had to figure it out after the first view. We're like, I thought the water was hydraulics for the elevator, maybe.
No.
The water took the shock from the floor. That's what I thought. But we were talking about, did flooding Cassian's level take out the floors on all of the levels or just Cassian's level?
Yeah, because nobody got
Just-
shocked.
And then we see the water dripping down from Cassian's level to the level below. We're like, is that taking the floor out? But I once again, I think it goes down. I think that was just so that they have some indications shit's going on up there.
Mm-hmm.
Because we saw how they panicked when they knew something was wrong on another floor. Yeah, I'm a just Cassian's level theorist myself.
So
but-
water conduct electricity?
But there's some, yeah, but
Usually
but
when you put
also-
electric charge in water, it's usually the opposite.
But it also like if you were to put low voltage in a large body of water, it would weaken it.
Yeah, I don't know. The way they got shocked in that first episode at the prison, I don't think
Yeah.
that was low voltage.
No, but it's also not
Some heavy
killing
duty
them either,
shit.
though. It's not killing them. It's
It
just
did
making
kill
them
that one
do-
dude that committed suicide.
Yeah, that was on hot floor though. That was hot floor, a hot potato
Okay,
floor.
so yeah, I guess they said there's different settings, so maybe
I'm gonna get-
setting
yeah.
one,
I don't know. I think it's like
It's
Spinal Tap. I think that's like
fucking-
11. That's 11 that does it. Otherwise, it's just I don't
You
know.
just need that extra push, just goes to 11.
James acting like he never saw Jaws 2. But
Trying to forget. I think
All
that's
right.
one.
well, I'm gonna end this with our song, and then we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you, Max, and thank you, James, for hanging out with me tonight. And as always, if you're free tomorrow, just hit me up. I'll invite you.
Go.
But, bye, everybody.
Cajun say Clyde, Epic say Clyde, Kino, E say Clyde. Cajun say Clyde, Epic say Clyde, Bix, don't say Clyde. Cajun say Clyde, Epic say Clyde, Kino, E say Clyde. Cajun say Clyde.